Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the channel. I'm Charlemagne, and today we're going over some of the hero kits that Simon released on the Fateless channel earlier today. And let me tell you guys, we now have a full look at a lot of the heroes that we're going to be able to pull in the Godforge Quest summoning pool. And so we can now finally say with assurance which heroes are kind of the primary ones that we're looking for. And as we start off, what we're looking at behind me is Ragewood's tier list. I'm going to give him full credit, guys. There's a link down in the description below of his full review over all of the heroes that are there. A lot of you have already seen that, and I am not going to take away his thunder by taking this tier list and then, putting everyone where I think it is. I'm going to give you a general take. Ragewood is going to be working really hard to create that video, updating his tier list, and as well as he has a screenshot of on his Discord, so go ahead and check that out as well if you have access there. But what I do want to do is just generally talk through my thoughts, because a lot of people in my community have been asking, hey, like, what is your tier list? And guys, I think the general reality is that the 5 here at the top that a lot of players have been talking about are really the best to go for. I agree with them. Now, I don't necessarily always agree with the placement, and I think some of these have changed based off of who is talking about it or what you're going for, because for me, I've chosen Heimdall. He is my hero of choice, and I would put him before Vivian. And that is simply because of the amount of support he is bringing, the amount of shield, the counterattack, all of those things, as well as the pairing that I've gotten on my account, which is with Excalibur, and the Pillar of Skies passive, which I believe it decreases damage taken when under shield. So there's a lot of synergies there that help me to choose Heimdall with confidence and why I place him in the top spot. But does that change based off the information we know today? Like I said, I agree with these top 5, just like a lot of the other content creators have said, but let's go ahead and jump into what we have learned today. First up, we are looking at Anu, and this guy is going to be a great support, a defender in the game. He's going to be able to put Vanish on allies with the lowest HP. He's going to put defense up. He's going to give you Protect, and placing Phoenix with his ultimate ability. This is a buff we have not seen very often, and immediately puts him really high up in the, I would say, in how much worth he has, on what tier he would be, S or A tier, just simply because with that Phoenix ability, allies are going to be able to come back to life if they are killed. An incredible ability right there. Not to mention that, but also bringing in healing for those who are under the Protect 2 buff. It really is going to be a great hero to have. If you have him, I would definitely say lock him in, because he's going to be a great support for your team. For every 10% divinity on this hero reduces the damage allies receive by 3%. That's also an incredible skill, because if you think about like long fights, for example, let's say we're going against the clan boss and you want to have that damage reduction, because I would imagine the clan boss damage is probably going to scale. That's pretty common in this type of game. This would be a great, assuming we have like a setup we can create where we say, hey, do or do not use these skills at these times. If we have that early access, or if we have that later, Anu is going to be a great hero for just continuing to protect your heroes, because he's going to have Protect up as well, plus a 30% damage reduction over time as he gains his divinity, as long as you don't use his ultimate, which again, that means you're giving up Phoenix, you're giving up some healing, but if you have a team that can support that, then you are just taking less and less damage. But even as an imprint, if you're getting him as an imprint for every 10% divinity on this hero, reduce the damage this hero receives by 1.5%. Also, really not bad, but frankly, I would say his passive far outweighs the imprint. Anu, definitely put up near the top for a great hero. Hey guys, don't forget and check that subscribe button down below. I am, at the time of this recording, 60 subscribers away from 1,000. So close to my goal of reaching that before early access. So do me a favor, check down below, share this video, like, comment, subscribe, all of the things, and help me reach that goal. Let's keep going. Now, we go into Apollo, and this is, on this list, one of the partner heroes that we have gotten. And there's actually several of them on this list. And I'm going to make a blanket statement that is my opinion. could absolutely be disagreed with, and by all means, go for it. But if we're talking about what hero we want to start the game with, we have no guarantee of when or if, like you on your account, if you're going to pull like Artemis, for example, that pairs with Apollo. And so you're going to be missing out on part of the really critical things in the skill sets that make these heroes unique and powerful at the very beginning of the game. Now, Artemis he's an invoker, kind of a damage dealer as well, from kind of how I read and understand his abilities, but really a good hero all around. But simply because he does pair with Artemis and gives some more abilities because of that pairing, I would say not really someone that you'd be aiming for to lock in. Ares is the next one, and man, what an arena hero. If you love arena, if you love PvP, Ares is a great hero to go for. He gives a crit bonus in arena battles. You're going to be wanting to build him as strong hits, because once strong hits continue to happen, it's going to stack up, I believe. It decreases the target's defense for every strong hit. You're also going to remove all shields and barriers if it's a strong hit. Just a really great champion, and really not only is he going to be doing damage as a slayer, but he is also going to be enhancing your other heroes as well with that leader bonus, with the removal of shields and barriers. Sounds like a really fun hero. Cizin is going to be a great dot hero. So dot is damage over time. So you're talking your acids, your blazes, those debuffs, the damaging debuffs, are going to be critical when it comes to doing lots of damage to bosses over longer fights. And not only is Cizin going to be great at that with applying acids, applying blaze, and having other effects based off of those, as you can see in this kit, there's also weapons and other imprints that are going to go ahead and pair well with him. Now, this is a good time to mention something that Hell Hades Simon shared with the content creators earlier today. There was a comment that was made on the video that was saying, hey, thanks you for the leak, Simons. Right now, I've chosen a hero and imprint for Lamashtu. Will he be able to imprint on Lamashtu to get his awakening level 1? And now we know this, that you cannot use an imprint to awaken a hero. You have to use a duplicate of that hero for that. But you can use Lamashtu's imprint on Lamashtu's weapon. That is big, guys. So for these passives, for example, if Lamashtu's passive, we can go there now, but basically it causes explosive damage from the enemies killed, and the passive also does further damage. That means there would be 2 procs of the same ability. If you look at who we were just talking about, which is Cizin, you look at his passive, which is if an enemy is under acid, reduces the incoming healing by 50%, but then his imprint is if an enemy is under acid, that reduces their incoming healing by 25%. And so that means if Cizin had his passive running with an imprint of his own on the whatever weapon it is that he's carrying, then that would be a 50% and a 25% decrease in healing, which just maximizes this ability. If you are wanting to do something where it comes to stacking an imprint on a hero, this is going to be the best way to do that, and it is viable. Basically, when we asked Simon about this, when one of the creators kind of asked exactly why that was, actually, I believe it was Susie, shout out to our community manager. Basically, what he said was that the build that it would take to be able to explain this to the average gamer when they were looking in-game was so complex that they had to allow it. Just being able to say, hey, you can't put a hero's imprint on a weapon and then give that weapon to that same hero, kind of describing that in a very clean, crisp way, was a bit too much, and so they allowed it. And so that's big news, actually. From what we knew and what we can understand, is going to really affect some of the builds that we do over time, and maybe some of the choices that you are making when it comes to your own imprints. So keep that in mind. Next up, we have another kind of partner hero, which is Fujin. He pairs up with Raijin, and basically, guys, it looks like there's going to be some defense, some damage that is going to be going in. All in all, a great hero if you pull him in the game. However, not somebody that I would suggest going forward, not somebody I would suggest locking in as your hero for the beginning of the game. Granted, of course, any legendary hero is great to have, and if he is your only one, I would absolutely lock him in, but I would not be aiming for him over some of the other choices you have. Next up, we have Izanagi. He is as well a partner hero. He is an invoker, And once again, I would say not worth our time necessarily, at least in hunting for. He will increase divinity of all allies by 5%, which is a great bonus. But because he relies on Izanami to do further damage and really like maximize him, I wouldn't say he's necessarily the best choice. But he does place initiative up 2 on all allies for 2 turns with his core, and he reduces the divinity cost of all allies by 10% up to 3 times. So that means that 10% will stack 3 times after 3 uses. And then for his ultimate, places attack 2 on all allies and to increase the divinity of all allies by 20%. So when I think about heroes like this that would also be doing great things, I do think about Quetzalcoatl, who would also be granting increased speed and having a leader bonus, and also being able, I believe, to even revive heroes on his own death. And so when it came to like Izanagi versus Quetzalcoatl, I would still be going for Quetzalcoatl over Izanagi. That would be my call. But let me know in the comments, am I missing something? Am I discounting these partner heroes too often? Let me know. The partner Izanami is right here, and she attacks with a chance to place initiative down. She is an invoker. No, a disruptor, excuse me. She's a disruptor. I lost the word for a second. She does remove shields, which is actually pretty clutch. I know that removing shields in Raid Shadow Legends was really important in the early game. Could potentially be early on helpful in Godforge as well. And she's one of the primary legendaries or heroes that even do that. So that's could be a great ability to have. But her ultimate is attacks all enemies, placing speed down 2 and curse 2, and decreases turn meter by 20%. It's a great ability, an absolutely great ability. But again, this hero is enhanced slightly by Izanagi on that core, which uniquely, using her core, Izanagi will actually use his core as well, rather than like a basic attack, which is great. But then the passive, Eternal Decay, when this hero attacks an enemy under initiative down, decreases their turn meter by 5%, some great control there. All in all, I would put her as a great hero to choose from. I think that she is kind of higher up than a lot of the other partner heroes, just because of all that she is doing. But even still, because you'd be getting one of 2 heroes, I would still go for other heroes. Next up, we have Lamashtu. Now, this has been, for me at least, a very highly anticipated hero based off of some of the things that Simon has said and the fact that I have her passive locked on my Godforge Quests account. I mean, the passive, the imprint, alone. When this hero defeats an enemy, they explode, inflicting damage 50% of attack to all enemies, which ignores 100% of defense, but cannot be critical. I mean, true damage. Absolutely incredible. An AoE sounds like a blast, and sure enough, I think Lamashtu is going to be top tier when it comes to damage dealers. If I pull Lamashtu on my second account, I mean, I'm pretty certain I'm going to lock her in. I don't want her for maybe, the account that I have Heimdall on, but if I could pull her, I think it would just be so much fun. Attacks an enemy 2 times. If defeated, increases the damage of the next AoE. Both her other attacks are AoEs. If it defeats 3 or more enemies, resets its cooldown, Divinity by 200, Unholy Birth, attack up 2 before attacking, and then attacks all enemies for everyone defeated, summons a demon to explode, and trigger Soul Eruption, which is the passive, which has already been talked about. I mean, absolutely just a legit hero, so creative, so interesting. And this brings up something as well. I commented on Simon's video today, Fateless's video, about how creative these kits were, and they commented back saying that for a lot of these legendary heroes, the developers wanted to create specific kits that were very clutch in different areas of the game. And I think Lamashtu is a great example of this. I think Hell is also another example of this, where there are going to be areas, if not one, maybe hopefully more dungeons, where there are multiple enemies, like let's say like small enemies, that minions that surround the big boss, that are easier to kill and can have great effects when you're doing AoEs with all these extra things tacked on. And I think Lamashtu, whatever that dungeon is, whatever that piece of content is, Lamashtu is going to shine in that part of the game. And if you don't care about having a support, if you don't care about like the absolutely prime optimal hero to choose or anything like that, if you pull Lamashtu, I would say go for her. She just sounds like fun. And we know from what Simon has said plenty of times, he is in it for the fun, and he has praised Lamashtu over and over and over again. So definitely would recommend her for sure. Next up, we have another hero that actually is really going to be enhanced by these potential areas of the game that have multiple minion enemies or things like that, which is Morgan Le Fay, putting out all kinds of damaging debuffs, including Blaze, Acid, Bleed, but also Aether Burn. She is going to be spreading all of these randomly to all kinds of enemies and then absorbing them and doing damage based off how many of those she absorbs, basically how many she removes. So you can see that in the ultimate, that before attacking, she removes these damaging debuffs and then attacks all enemies. For every 5 removed, increase the damage. If 20 or more removed, increase the hero's turn meter by 100%. Such a fun hero. Such a fun hero. I think she is a little more niche than even Lamashtu though, so I wouldn't necessarily choose her over Lamashtu, but with all these damaging debuffs, if you don't necessarily use the ultimate on like a boss, it's going to be great for stacking those debuffs and causing more damage over time. So again, a great hero. Sounds like a lot of fun. Raijin is that hero that partnered with Fujin. He is placing barrier. He is really doing a lot with Fujin. Again, wouldn't necessarily pick him because he is that partner hero. There's a lot of great things about his kit that you can see here clearly. And if you were to pull him, or if you were to pull him in the game, like, you would be very lucky. But it's not somebody I would be hard focused on getting right now during the Godforge Quests minigame time. Last but not least, guys, we do have Svarog. And he is the wielder of the Forged Fire, one of the main weapons that a lot of people are hunting for. His basic attacks one enemy with defense and attack modifiers, so that books up to 100% chance to place Blunt 2, which I believe is decreasing crit damage or crit rate, one of those two. So generally is going to help protect your team. His core attacks all enemies, defense plus attack, 100% chance books up to attack down, places protect 2 on all allies, places resistance up and defense up on allies for 3 turns with his ultimate for 3 turns. That's pretty big. And then places shield on all allies. His passive, each time an ally uses an ultimate, decreases damage received by all allies by 3 up to 30%. This guy is a great defender. There are some things that may obviously make him different than Heimdall, and I know I keep saying Heimdall. He was a clutch hero in the alpha, and so it's hard to not compare. But aside from not having a counterattack, he is a great choice. Somebody definitely worth going for. And with resistance up, resistance is very helpful, is going to be very helpful in Godforge. Putting defense up, all of these things for 3 turns. And that's 3 turns before he gets his ultimate again. Not his core, which is the 3-turn cooldown. But if you give him enough initiative to be getting the ultimate up enough, that's basically a guaranteed always having up resistance up and defense up, which could be an absolutely great hero to have on your team. And so guys, these are the heroes. We've now discussed all of them. Simon has been good enough to share the kits with us. We now know all the heroes that are viable possibilities within Godforge Quests. But what do you think, and who are you going to be going for? I will be doing a community big summoning event near the end of January, and potentially even in February, because now Godforge Quest is going to be moving all the way through and ending on February 20th, I believe is the last day. And so we have lots of opportunities to come together, have a good old-fashioned summoning party. And if you want to participate in that, if you want to be a part of my community, join the link down below to my Discord. It's right there at the top of the description, and I'll see you there. And if you are looking for a community to join, again, join the Discord, join Pax Corollas, and if you want to learn more about what we are doing and what we're all about, make sure and watch this video next.